Have you ever wondered what's really inside your deer feed? Well, so did we. That's why when we launched this company, we made it our priority to use clear bags. And we did this for one simple reason: transparency. Today, we're revealing why seeing your deer feed before you buy it matters, how it protects you, your deer, and your wallet. The problem with traditional feed bags that I always had was I didn't know what was in the bag. How did I know what they were saying on the outside of the bag was true about what was inside the bag? I didn't get to see the feed until I'd already purchased it and left. And that always kind of rubbed me the wrong way. Oftentimes, packaging can be used to deter you in what's really in the bag. It helps companies cut corners and get you excited about what might be in there just to realize it's not. Packaging can be a way of dodging accountability and product integrity. So often you'll see amazing graphics, crazy pictures of deer, all the verbiage and all the wording to convince you to buy the product just to get it home and be utterly disappointed. Look, the truth is, you wouldn't buy a steak in a brown paper bag, so why would you feed your deer something that you couldn't see before you bought it? Now, I'm a little biased, but usually when I see a bunch of fancy packaging, I question, what are they overcompensating for? Just use that in consideration when identifying a product. I've been developing products for a long time, and there's one thing I do know. Oftentimes, packaging can be a major cost driver in that product. But the last time I checked, the deer didn't eat the packaging. Though that fancy packaging might catch your eye, part of what you're paying for is exactly that. I've seen it firsthand, how a great product can end up costing way more than it should because too much money spent on packaging, or because so much money spent on packaging, the product's integrity has to be diluted to the point of a price point. I've seen it over and over again in my time of developing products, and it created a massive frustration in my life because I was always so focused on creating a wonderful product inside the bag or inside the container, oftentimes to have to cut corners just to achieve a fancy packaging concept. We decided that we would rather invest in what goes into the deer and not what goes into the trash. When a bag looks expensive, oftentimes what's in it is not. Now, I'm not saying that fancy, awesome, amazing packaging is wrong, but something to consider when you're deciding on what products you want to buy for your farm. That's why we love elements of clear packaging in any product, so you can see what's in the package. That will also allow you to identify some of the key elements to avoid when purchasing deer feed. A cool element about having packaging that has a clear element to it, whether it's a window or just the packaging being fully clear, it allows you to identify some things that you don't want in your feed. Things like cheap fillers, trash, dust, mold, bugs, and even sticks that may clog up some of your feeders. Filler products are cheap for the manufacturer, but they're oftentimes quite expensive for you. Because what it does is it leads to less digestibility, which ultimately means the animal's not using the product that you're paying for anyways. They're just passing it straight through. Products with less cheap fillers and more whole grain approach increases digestibility, which allows you to get more return on the money that you've actually spent on that product. Dust is another thing to always look for. If you got more dust in the bag than you have product, every time you pour that bag out, you're just wasting it. So having a clear element to your packaging always kind of helps you make decisions. Any product that's gonna have grain or any kind of pelleted feed is going to have a level of dust in it. We're not saying dust-free, but just evaluate how much dust is in that bag, knowing that oftentimes dust is a cheap filler, and it's an easy way for a manufacturer to get away with cheapening their product. One of the more disheartening elements to buying feed is getting home, super excited about it, can't wait to get it out, just to open the bag and notice that there's a lot of sticks, a lot of trash, or even bugs completely filled in the bag. And that's really just a liability to your herd's health. If you had a product going into a bag that cannot be seen, you're more likely to let some things slip. But if you're putting a product in a gin clear bag, you're gonna make sure the quality of your product stays as high as possible. So that's why we prioritize clear bags. We wanted to be transparent. We ultimately wanted you to decide for yourself whether the product that was in the bag is what you wanted. We didn't want to convince you with great pictures, fancy slogans, and just flashy packaging. We wanted you to see the product. And if you decided to buy it, great. If you didn't, that's fine as well. But at least you knew what you were getting. And that's why we've always prioritized clear packaging or elements of clear packaging in all the products that we develop. We simply want you to know that we prioritize great quality product in that bag, and we want to invest everything we can that goes into the deer and less that goes into the trash. We've always tried to use our packaging not only for you, but for us. Another great reason for us to use clear packaging is it holds us accountable to making sure that the product you're buying is good. Now, we've not always succeeded at that. If you've ever bought a bag of triple grit from us, there were seasons of production where we really struggled to keep the feed clean. But the reality is we kept selling it in a clear bag. And what that did is it pressed us to continue to try to solve the problems, to continue to try to improve the integrity of the product, to continue to hold ourselves accountable that what we wanted to do was always sell you great product. It helped continue to push us to be better versus just hiding it in a bag that you would have known until you got home. I love the idea of all of our clear packaging concepts. I've always had a high desire to keep the integrity of their product high. No shortcuts. If you like our feed, great. If it's not for you, we understand. But you'll always know what you're getting in buying a grit feed product. Pretty cool to think that to this day, we still make every bag of feed that we sell in our warehouse in Westover, Alabama. But it's cool to think about that that bag of feed is helping guys all over. South Carolina, Florida, all over the state of Alabama, Tennessee and Georgia, even out in Kansas and Oklahoma, even the legendary Giants in the great state of Ohio. We are committed to the continued effort of simply making great products for you to enjoy, that you see great value in, and that ultimately helps create amazing memories all over this country when it comes to whitetail deer. So the next time you open a bag of deer feed and what you were expecting is not there, consider our recommendations of always looking for a product that has clear packaging so you know what you're getting every time. We have so much great information about all things hunting, and we would love to share it with you. Check out this video.